Hey everyone, welcome back for
Yeah.
another deep dive.
Right.
This time around we're tackling uh, a real classic, I guess you could say, Your Money or Your Life.
Yeah.
A book that has been around for quite a while,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's still super relevant today, and actually maybe even more so than ever,
Yeah, it is.
especially with all the, I don't know, just the financial anxieties and uh, just kind of the way that the economy has been going.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason this book has stood the test of time.
Right.
It's helped millions and millions of people
Yeah.
around the world.
Yeah, it's a global phenomenon.
Yeah, and really just kind of changed their whole perspective
Right.
on money and how they relate to it.
Absolutely. And one of the things that the book really hits home is this concept that money equals life energy,
Right.
which, yeah,
Yeah.
on the surface might seem a little bit woo-woo or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think when you really unpack it, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm really curious to dive into that a little bit more. Like, what does it actually mean to view money as life energy?
Well, basically, you're trading hours of your life, your precious time and energy to earn money.
Right.
So every dollar you spend represents a piece of your life,
Oh.
like a tangible piece of your life.
I see.
And the book really drives this home with the story of Jason and Nidra, a couple drowning in debt.
Oh.
When they started seeing their spending through this lens, it was a total wake-up call.
So it's kind of like saying, okay, those takeout lunches or whatever aren't costing you just $5 or $10.
Yeah.
It's costing you however much time you had to spend working
Right.
to earn those $5 or $10.
Exactly. And once you grasp that,
Right.
it changes everything.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. You start questioning if that impulse buy
Right.
is really worth the hours you put in at work.
Yeah.
It's about making conscious choices.
Right.
So your money aligns with the life you want to live.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really powerful shift in perspective because, it's easy to get caught up in those day-to-day transactions.
Yeah.
Right.
And just not even think about the bigger picture.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I'm really curious about is how does your money or your life actually help us to make those choices?
Well, it lays out 9 clear steps
Okay.
to financial independence.
Okay, so 9 steps to get to this point where we have, kind of achieved this this sense of freedom
Right.
with our finances.
And we're going to focus on the most actionable ones
Okay.
for building wealth.
Okay, I love it.
But it all starts with making peace with the past.
Okay, now that sounds a little bit heavy to me.
Yeah,
Do I need to go to therapy for this?
not quite.
Okay.
It's more about facing your current financial reality.
Okay,
So you're going to create a detailed balance sheet listing all your assets and liabilities.
so getting real with ourselves.
Yeah, no sugarcoating allowed.
Okay, so no more hiding from those credit card statements. Got it. Okay, so what's next after we've done that?
Step 2 is where we get to the life energy part.
Okay.
It's called valuing your life energy.
Okay.
And you're going to calculate your real hourly wage.
Okay.
And I'm not just talking about your salary divided by hours worked.
Oh, there's more to it. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so you need to factor in all job-related expenses.
Okay.
Think commuting,
Yeah.
work clothes,
Wow.
those daily lattes to survive the morning meeting,
Right.
even childcare if your job requires it.
Okay.
All of that stuff.
So it's like the true cost of working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can be eye-opening to see how much of your income disappears
Right.
before you even get to enjoy it.
Totally. And I bet for a lot of people that would be pretty shocking
Yeah.
to actually do that calculation.
Absolutely.
So once we've kind of had our aha moment with that,
Right.
how do we kind of move forward from there? What's the next step?
Step 3 is tracking your life energy,
Okay.
which basically means becoming a meticulous record keeper
Yeah.
of every dollar you earn and spend.
Okay. I can see how that would be helpful,
Right.
but I've always struggled with that. Like the tracking every penny.
Yeah.
Is there a way to make that a little less painful?
Well, there are tons of apps and budgeting tools out there that can
Oh,
help
yeah.
you
Right.
find one that works for you and stick with it.
Yeah.
The key is to be consistent.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by how those seemingly insignificant expenses add up.
Like that daily coffee habit or something.
Well, yeah.
Or those impulse buys at the checkout line.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's where step 4 comes in.
Okay.
The book challenges you to ask 3 questions that will transform your life.
Okay, hit me with the questions.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So for every expense, you want to ask yourself this.
Okay.
Did this expense bring me fulfillment?
Okay, so really evaluating, was it worth it?
Exactly.
Did it actually contribute to my happiness and well-being?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second question is this expense in alignment with my values? So, now think about what truly matters to you.
Right.
Does this purchase reflect those values?
Okay, so making sure my money's going where my heart is.
Right.
Like it. Okay, and what's the third question?
The third question is, what is the impact of this expense on the planet?
Okay, so even if that new outfit brought me joy and aligned with my values,
Yeah.
I should still think about its environmental impact.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about making conscious choices
Right.
that benefit not only your finances, but also the world around you.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's not just about me, me, me.
Right.
It's about the bigger picture.
Exactly.
And I think, sometimes it's easy to lose sight of that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like these three questions really help us to bring it all back into focus.
Right.
Okay, so we've asked ourselves those three questions.
Yeah.
Hopefully we've come to some good realizations.
Right.
What's next?
Then you move on to step 5.
Okay.
Seeing the patterns.
Okay.
And this is where you identify your gazingus pins.
Gazingus pins?
Yeah.
I love that term.
Yeah, it's a funny term.
What does that mean?
So think of them as spending categories that drain your life energy
Oh.
without bringing you much joy.
Okay.
So maybe it's clothes you never wear,
Yeah.
subscriptions you've forgotten about,
Yeah.
or those expensive hobbies you never quite got around to.
Okay.
Things like that.
So basically the things that we're spending money on
Yeah,
that aren't really giving us much back in return.
right.
Yeah, okay. I think I have a few gazingus pins I need to address.
Yeah.
Okay, but how do I actually, stop the bleeding, so to speak? How do I cut back on those unnecessary expenses?
That brings us to step 6, miniaturizing your monthly expenditures. And this is where you learn to cut costs painlessly
Okay.
by focusing on conscious spending
Okay.
and maximizing value.
Okay.
The book is packed with practical tips.
Okay.
And don't worry, it's not about living like a hermit.
Okay, good. Because I like going out to dinner sometimes.
Right.
So give me some of those practical tips.
Okay, so one of the simplest yet most powerful tips is don't go shopping unless you truly need something.
Okay.
So the book points out that, a huge percentage of purchases are impulse buys,
Right.
especially at the grocery store and the hardware store.
Oh, yeah.
Avoiding those unnecessary trips can save you a ton of money.
Yeah, I am definitely guilty of that. Like walking into the grocery store for milk and coming out with a cart full of snacks.
Yeah.
I don't even need.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Another key strategy is living within your means,
Okay.
which essentially means avoiding unnecessary debt.
Okay, that sounds like common sense.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to get caught up in the buy now, pay later.
Right. It's become almost normalized.
Yeah.
But the book challenges that mentality.
Okay.
It highlights how debt can be a huge drain on your finances and peace of mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So instead of relying on credit cards,
Right.
we're saving up for the things we want,
Exactly.
being more patient.
It's about delaying gratification and being patient. And another great tip is to embrace the wear it out mentality.
Okay, so like our grandparents who used to mend their clothes
Exactly.
and keep appliances running for decades.
Right. We live in a culture of constant upgrading and replacing.
Right.
But, often perfectly good items are tossed aside just because something newer and shinier is available.
Yeah.
The book encourages us to rethink that mentality
Right.
and appreciate the value of what we already own.
Yeah, and I think there's also an environmental component to that too.
Absolutely.
It's really important.
Yeah.
And of course, there's the classic DIY approach.
Yes.
The book encourages embracing do-it-yourself for everyday tasks and repairs.
Yeah. So, learn to change a tire,
Yeah.
fix a leaky faucet,
Yeah.
whip up a meal from scratch instead of ordering takeout.
Exactly.
That.
Yeah, and I think there's something really satisfying about being able to fix things yourself.
Right.
It's kind of a lost art in many ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
The book even suggests considering downsizing your housing to free up more income for investing,
Yeah.
which, might seem drastic to some people.
Yeah.
But it's becoming increasingly popular as people realize the financial and lifestyle benefits
Right.
of living in a smaller space.
Exactly.
So it's about prioritizing experiences
Yeah.
and investing in things that truly matter
Right.
rather than being bogged down by a huge mortgage
Right.
and all the expenses that come with maintaining a large home.
Exactly.
And, speaking of experiences, the book offers tips for vacationing affordably.
Right.
So thinking about home swaps,
Yeah.
staying with friends, or exploring less touristy destinations.
Right.
So getting creative and finding ways to travel
Yeah.
without breaking the bank.
Exactly.
Which I love because, travel is such an enriching experience.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that everybody should be able to enjoy.
Yeah.
So by following all these practical strategies
Yeah.
and combining them with this conscious spending,
Right.
we can start to shift our financial trajectory.
And accelerate our journey to financial independence.
Yeah, and it's not just about saving every penny.
Right.
The book also encourages exploring ways to increase your income
Okay.
without sacrificing your integrity or burning yourself out.
Okay. So it's about finding that sweet spot where work is fulfilling
Yeah,
and financially rewarding.
exactly.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. So welcome back, everyone,
Yeah.
to our deep dive into your money or your life.
Yeah.
Last time we were really kind of exploring all these practical strategies for getting control of our spending.
Yeah.
Things like miniaturizing our monthly expenditures and really kind of like shifting our mindset around money.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned something about increasing income too. So I'm really curious to dive into that.
So that's where step 7 comes in.
Okay.
Valuing your life, energy, maximizing your income.
Okay. So it's not just about cutting back.
Right.
It's also about bringing more in.
It's about exploring strategies to earn more without compromising your integrity.
Right.
Or burning yourself out.
So it's about finding that sweet spot
Exactly.
where work is fulfilling and financially rewarding.
Yeah.
Okay.
The book encourages us to think about work as a way to contribute our talents and skills
Right.
while also earning a living.
Yeah.
And it reminds us that we have choices,
Okay.
that we can create a work life that aligns with our values.
Right. So it's not about settling for a soul-crushing job just to pay the bills.
Exactly.
It's about finding something that makes you feel good
Yeah.
and pays you well,
Right.
which I think is something that a lot of people struggle with.
Absolutely.
So how do we actually do that? How do we find that kind of work?
Well, the book shares inspiring stories of people who did just that.
Okay.
There's Marcia, a single mom who started as a hotel maid,
Oh, wow.
but she meticulously applied the book's principles.
Oh.
She tracked her real hourly wage,
Uh-huh.
evaluated her work choices,
Yeah.
and strategically moved towards higher paying positions that matched her skills and values.
Okay. And I think it's worth mentioning that she ended up as the executive director of a healthcare organization,
Right.
which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it really shows that you can, with clear intention, hard work, and a willingness to adapt,
Right.
you can significantly boost your earning power.
Totally. So it's like thinking about your career
Yeah.
as a long-term investment
Exactly.
and really kind of being strategic about the choices that you make.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've made peace with our past finances.
Right.
We've calculated our real hourly wage.
Yeah.
We've become meticulous trackers
Yeah.
and started minimizing our expenses or even
Yeah.
maximizing our income.
Right.
But how does it all lead to this financial independence?
That's the exciting part.
Okay, I'm ready.
So it all comes together in step 8,
Right.
capital and the crossover point,
Okay, now we're talking.
where we finally get to talk about investing.
Yes, this is where the magic happens.
All right, so what exactly is the crossover point?
Yeah, what is that?
So the crossover point is that magical moment
Okay,
when your investment income covers all your monthly expenses.
okay.
It's when you achieve financial independence.
So you no longer have to work for money.
Your time becomes truly yours.
That sounds amazing.
It's like winning the lottery, but without relying on luck.
Right.
You're creating your own luck.
I love it. Okay, so how does the book guide us toward reaching this crossover point?
So your money or your life emphasizes a conservative approach to investing,
Okay.
focusing on safety and stability rather than risky ventures.
Okay.
And Joe Dominguez, one of the authors,
Right.
actually retired at 31 using these principles.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he walked the walk.
He did.
Yeah.
And he designed a strategy focused on U.S. Treasury bonds.
Right, sure. Bonds. Okay, why those specifically?
Well, he considered them the ideal investment for financial independence
Okay.
because they offer 3 essential ingredients.
Okay.
Safety of principal,
Right.
stable income,
Yeah.
and ease of management.
Okay, so it's kind of like a set it and forget it.
Exactly. You're not risking your capital. You're
Right.
getting a steady stream of income.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need to be a Wall Street whiz
Right.
to understand how they work.
That sounds pretty appealing, especially if you're not a big risk taker.
Right.
Okay. But I know the financial world has changed a lot since the 60s.
Yeah.
Are treasury bonds still a good option today?
Well, Treasury bonds are still solid,
Okay.
especially for those with a low risk tolerance.
Okay.
But the book does acknowledge that there are more options to consider nowadays, like index funds,
Okay.
which can offer greater diversification
I get it.
and potentially higher returns.
Yeah, index funds are popular
Yeah.
because they track a specific market index.
Right.
So you're getting broad exposure
Yeah.
to a basket of stocks or bonds.
Right.
And they tend to have lower fees
Yeah.
than actively managed funds.
Exactly.
So a lot of benefits there.
Yeah. They're a great option for many investors,
Yeah.
especially those seeking long-term growth.
Okay.
The book also touches on rental real estate as a potential income-generating asset.
Yeah.
Although it does caution against getting caught up in the complexities of being a landlord.
Yeah. There's a lot to that.
Yeah, it's not a passive investment
Right.
by anyone.
No, you have to be actively involved.
Right.
Okay. So lots of options to consider.
Yeah.
It's about doing your research and finding what aligns with your individual goals and risk tolerance.
Exactly.
But ultimately, I think your money or your life,
Right.
it's about more than just reaching that crossover point.
Yeah,
It's about what happens after you get there.
that's right. It's not about accumulating piles of money just for the sake of it.
Right.
It's about creating a life of freedom and choice,
Okay.
where your time and energy are no longer dictated by a paycheck.
Yeah.
It's about using that freedom to live a life that's truly fulfilling.
Okay, so let's say I've reached the crossover point.
Right.
My investments cover my expenses. I'm free?
You're free.
No way.
That's where the book really shines.
Okay.
It doesn't just get you to the finish line.
Right.
It guides you toward a life of purpose and meaning,
Okay.
one that goes beyond simply accumulating wealth.
Yeah.
Remember the fulfillment curve we discussed earlier?
Yes, I do.
It showed that happiness doesn't infinitely increase with wealth.
Right. There's a point where having enough
Yeah,
brings the most satisfaction.
exactly.
Yeah.
So your money or your life encourages us to explore the territory beyond that peak,
Okay.
where fulfillment comes not from consumption,
Okay.
but from contribution and growth.
So it's not about buying more stuff.
Right.
It's about finding deeper meaning and purpose.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So the book highlights the importance of service,
Oh, okay.
using our time and energy to make a positive impact
Okay.
on the world around us.
So things like volunteering or mentoring,
Yeah.
or even just being more present and helpful in our daily interactions.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of spreading that positivity.
It's about finding ways to contribute your unique talents and skills
Yeah.
to something larger than yourself.
Yeah.
Something that makes a real difference.
Yeah. And I love that because it's like that saying, it is in giving that we receive.
Right.
Like when we focus on making a difference,
Yeah.
we often find a sense of purpose and satisfaction that money can't buy.
Exactly.
The book also emphasizes the importance of creative pursuits and personal growth.
Yeah.
So using your newfound freedom
Right.
to explore your interests,
Yeah.
develop new skills,
Uh-huh.
and expand your horizons.
Exactly.
So finally taking that painting class or learning a new language
Yeah.
or traveling the world.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
It's about investing in your own development and pursuing those activities that bring you joy and make you feel truly alive.
Okay, so it's about prioritizing those things
Right.
that light you up.
Yeah.
Your money or your life. Even encourages us to redefine our concept of work. Now, this is interesting to me
Right.
because I thought the whole point of financial independence was to not have to work.
Right. So it's not about rejecting work altogether,
Okay.
but rather expanding our understanding of what it can be.
Okay.
The book suggests that work doesn't have to be something we dread,
Right.
something we do solely for a paycheck.
Right.
It can be a source of fulfillment, creativity, and contribution.
So even if we're not working for money,
Right.
we can still find meaningful work in our passions,
Yeah.
our service to others, or even just in those everyday tasks
Right.
that make our lives richer and more fulfilling.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah, I love that.
The book reminds us that we have the power to choose how we spend our time and energy,
Right.
regardless of our financial situation.
Okay, so it's about reclaiming that agency
Exactly.
and living intentionally,
Yeah.
aligning our actions with our values and aspirations.
Exactly.
But what about the practical side of things?
Yeah.
You know, how do we actually manage our finances once we've achieved this financial independence?
That's a crucial question.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we'll explore in the final part
Okay, I'm excited.
of our deep dive.
Welcome back to Books to Riches for the final part of our deep dive into your money or your life.
Yeah. This is where it all comes together.
I know we've been on quite a journey with this book, haven't we?
We've gone through a lot.
Yeah, from viewing money as life energy
Right.
to mastering our spending habits, even exploring ways to maximize our income.
Absolutely.
And last time we even talked about investing
Yeah.
and reaching that crossover point.
That magical crossover point.
I know, right?
Where investments cover all our expenses.
But the cool thing about your money or your life is it doesn't just drop you off at the finish line and say, good luck.
Right. It keeps going.
Yeah, it guides you on how to actually manage your finances to maintain this freedom and live a fulfilling life.
Exact.
So I'm excited to dive into that final step. Step 9, managing your finances.
Right.
Now, I have to admit, it doesn't sound as exciting as like traveling the world or pursuing my passions,
Right.
but I know it's important.
Oh, it's crucial.
Yeah.
Think of it as becoming the CEO of your own life,
Okay, I like
making informed decisions about your money
that.
so you can live with confidence and security.
Okay.
This step is all about ensuring your nest egg continues to grow and provides for you, even when you're no longer actively working for money.
Okay. So it's about kind of like setting ourselves up for the long haul.
Exactly, long-term thinking.
Yeah. Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal.
Yeah.
So how do we do that? What are some key strategies for managing our finances after we've achieved financial independence?
Well, the book provides valuable insights into long-term income-producing investments.
Okay.
Remember Joe Dominguez's investment strategy?
Yeah. Safety of principal,
Right.
stability of income, ease of management.
Exactly.
He was a big fan of U.S. Treasury bonds, right?
He was.
Yeah.
And while the book acknowledges that the financial landscape has evolved since he retired,
Yeah, I've changed a bit.
a little bit,
Yeah.
those principles are still relevant.
Okay.
And the book explores other possibilities too, like index funds.
Yeah. Index funds are a great option
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
Especially those who are newer to investing.
Right. And they offer diversification and potentially higher returns.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the book also touches on other possibilities like rental real estate, although it cautions against getting caught up in the complexities and potential headaches of being a landlord.
Right. It's not as passive as some people might think.
Exactly.
Yeah. So lots of options to consider.
Yeah, it's about finding what feels right for you.
Absolutely.
And your money or your life doesn't just focus on investment strategies.
Okay.
It also emphasizes the importance of managing inflation.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah,
Because even with a solid nest egg, inflation can slowly erode our purchasing power.
exactly, over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the book provides practical tips on how to hedge against inflation.
Okay, so what are some of those tips?
Well, both through our spending choices and strategic investing.
Okay, so things like buying high-quality items.
That's one strategy.
They will last a long time.
Yeah, reducing the need for frequent replacements.
Okay.
And investing in assets that have historically outpaced inflation,
Right.
like stocks or real estate.
Okay, so thinking about the long game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the book also reminds us that managing finances is an ongoing process.
Not a one-time thing.
It's not a set it and forget it.
Right. We have to stay engaged.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about staying informed, adapting to changing circumstances, and making sure your money is always working for you.
Not the other way around.
Exactly.
Yeah, so even after reaching financial independence,
Right.
we need to stay engaged with our finances and make adjustments as needed.
Absolutely. It's about being proactive
Yeah.
and ensuring your money continues to support the life you want to live.
Okay, so we've achieved financial independence, we're managing our finances wisely,
Right.
and we're living a life that truly lights us up.
Right. You're living the dream.
What's next?
Well, that's where the book gets really inspiring.
Okay.
It encourages us to embrace lifelong learning,
Okay.
to continuously seek out new experiences and challenges.
I love that.
Yeah, remember, financial independence isn't just about the destination.
Right.
It's about the journey of personal growth and fulfillment that continues long after you've reached that crossover point.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Thank you.
It's about constantly evolving, expanding our horizons, and finding new ways to contribute and grow.
Exactly. And the book reminds us that financial independence is a privilege,
Yeah.
one that comes with a responsibility to use our resources wisely
Okay.
and make a positive impact on the world.
So it's not just about personal fulfillment.
Right.
It's also about giving back and making a difference.
Yeah. Exactly, whether it's through philanthropy, volunteering, or simply living in a way that's mindful of our environmental footprint, we have an opportunity to use our resources for good.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive into your money or your life,
Yeah,
let's remember that financial freedom is within reach
it is.
for anyone willing to challenge their assumptions about money.
Right.
and embrace a more intentional way of living.
Absolutely.
It's about aligning your spending with your values,
Right.
maximizing your income without sacrificing your integrity, and investing wisely to create a future where your time and energy are truly your own.
Beautifully said.
Your Money or Your Life is more than just a personal finance book.
It is.
It's a guide to living a life of purpose, abundance, and joy.
And the most beautiful thing is that the journey starts today.
I love that.
What choices will you make to create a life of financial freedom and fulfillment?
That's it for this deep dive into your money or your life.
I hope you enjoyed it.
We hope you gained some valuable insights and practical strategies to help you on your journey to financial independence.
Your time and energy are precious.
Absolutely. Start living a life that truly reflects what matters most to you.